Hi, welcome to Something to Talk About. My name is Taco. I'm here to talk about Forley Prester. It's one of those Song of Ice and Fire characters, those Game of Thrones books. And it's something to do every Saturday morning. This guy right here, Forley Prester, the bear, looks like an innkeeper. You guys don't know what's going on. That's what's going on. Go ahead, read this, figure it out. And little tired, but I can get through this. And here I am bravely wearing, I filmed this month and some in advance. And, you know, the Vikings are doing good now. So let's hope they're still doing good when I put this video out. Probably not. All right. I hope to be proven wrong on that one. So let's talk about Forley Prester. You guys remember this guy? Forley Prester is a knight of House Prester and is a cousin to Garrison Prester, who's the Lord of Fireflies. So he is not the Lord of House Prester. He is just a member of House Prester. He's a knight. Forley is short and hard. Okay. With a pinched nose and bald pate. And a bald pate. Yeah, he's bald. And a grizzly brown beard. Jaime Lannister thinks the capable Forley resembles more like an innkeeper than a knight. It's pretty great. His knight surcoat depicts a bull's head, and his helmet has horns. I love me a horned helmet. Any horned helmet or winged helmet. I love it, man. I don't know. I know that they're not practical, and they probably wouldn't be a thing outside of like fantasy, but come on, man. What's the point of doing fantasy? You can't put some horns on your helmet, right? I think you guys agree. So this is one of the Westermen. Do you guys remember him? He's pretty great. But yeah, he's one of the from the Westerlands. So let's talk about House Prester. House Prester of Fireflies is one of the principal noble houses sworn to House Lannister of Castle Rock. Their seat is at Feastfires. Have I been saying Fireflies? Feastfires. Wow. The whole time. I've been saying, Fireflies. Feastfires. I warned you I was tired. Feastfires. Their seat at Feastfires is located in the westernmost point of the Westerlands. Their sigil is a red ox. Their motto is not mentioned in the books, but according to the Citadel on Westeros.org, it is tireless. Just one word mottos. I love it. During the Lady Joanna Lannister's war against the Ironborn back in the day, she hoped to retake Fair Isle from the Red Kraken, Lord Dalton Greyjoy. Lord Prester, Lord Tarback, and Lord Ewan Lannister, or Sir Ewan Lannister, were given command of the ragtag fleet of fishing boats and cogs at Feastfires, but they were betrayed. The ill-fated crossing led to their deaths, and Lord Prester's head was sent back to Castle Rock. Wow. Later on, though, Lord Tytos Lannister compelled his brother Jason Lannister to wed a Marla Prester to avoid further scandals and bastards, because he already had one bastard and another kid with his first wife. Yeah, just like, get out of here, man. Go marry a Prester and leave. After the wedding, Sir Jason departed Castle Rock to live at Feastfires. Lord Prester was one of the first lords to join Tywin against the Rains and Tarbecks when they, quote, rebelled against House Lannister. Yeah, there you guys go. There's a little bit of House Prester. I do love it. I do love the red ox. It's always a Red Bull. It's Red Bull. I don't know. You know, it's a good sigil. Okay. War breaks out. When the War of the Five Kings was in its early stages, when it was just the War of the Starks and the Lannisters. Yeah, it was early on. There wasn't 5 kings in it yet. Forley serves in Jaime Lannister's host, taking part of the battle in the hills below the Golden Tooth. In the battle of the wall, under the walls of Winterfell. A lot of battles under stuff during this time. When Robb Stark smashes Jaime's house in the Battle of the Camps, which was right after the Whispering Wood, Forley commands the southern camp. Upon seeing that the other 2 besieging camps are lost, he was able to retreat in good order back towards the Golden Tooth with 2,000 spears and as many bowmen. Yeah, he was able to get out of there. He retreated. But Tyroshi sellswords in his company, whoever they were, struck their banners and went over to the enemy. That's Robb Stark. Kevin Lannister curses Jaime for not heeding his warning about mercenaries. Yeah, during like a war council meeting, Kevin Lannister's like, I warned Forley Prester about those dang mercenaries. And Tywin's like, dude, I'm hiring mercenaries too. What's your point? Have you met the Brave Companions? Forley and Davin. I have done a video for Davin Lannister, by the way. It's one of my first videos. I did it early on. I love Davin. He's great. Forley is stationed at the Golden Tooth, according to semi-canon sources, which is so spake. I hate that word. Martin, the Tooth in the Tyroshi. So it was like a thing he wrote in 1999, semi-canon, where he just kind of like clears up a little bit about the lore. Forley he was saying he's stationed at the Golden Tooth there in that. It was pretty much just a whole thing kind of covering up the whole Tyroshi sellswords and how he kind of forgot about them. Forley sends many of his veterans to Sir Stafford Lannister at Oxcross to augment and help train the inexperienced levies, comprising Stafford's forces. However, these vets, Stafford himself, and many of his men were killed by a host of Robb Stark. The new king in the north, the Battle of Oxcross, the surprise attack. They were the surprise attack by the Northmen. Yeah, they snuck on in and attacked them at the Battle of Oxcross. Fantastic. The Lannisters' army defeat was so great, according to rumor, Robb cut out Stafford's heart and fed it to Greywind. I don't believe it, but it doesn't really sound like Robb. Once Sir Davin Lannister, Stafford's son, reforms Oxcross survivors who have gathered in Lannisport, he is to link up with Forley at the Golden Tooth to prepare to march on the Riverlands, and that happens. They are tasked with attacking Riverrun after Robb is red weddinged at the Red Wedding. You guys catch all that? So, after the battle, after Whispering Wood and Battle of the Camps, Forley runs off, hides at Golden Tooth, and then the Stafford Lannister gathers a bunch of men, all these Lannister men, right? And then Battle of Oxcross happens when Robb sneaks down there and just wipes them out pretty hardcore. And then the survivors latch on to Stafford's son, which is Davin Lannister, and then he goes back up to Golden Tooth and joins back in with Forley Prester. So they have a pretty decent-ish size host. And then after Robb is red wedding, they're like, we need to siege Riverrun. So then Forley and Davin are in charge of that host, and they head over to the Riverrun. It wasn't that confusing. Kind of. War Council at Riverrun. Man, I love this chapter. I love when I get to re-listen to this chapter. During the siege of Riverrun, Forley and Aemon are encamped south of the Red Fork with remnants of Jaime Lannister's former command and river lords who have bent the knee to King Tommen Baratheon. When Jaime arrives to resolve the siege, he speaks to the Blackfish to end the siege. But it makes no difference. He then tells Davin to put a war council together, specifically saying that Forley Prester has to be there. Riverlanders, who are represented by, Riverlanders, I'm just going to say everyone who makes it to the War Council. Riverlanders, who are represented by Lord Piper and both Lord Vance, because there's two House Vances. The West was represented by Davin Strongbor, Adam Marbrand, and Forley Prester, who we're talking about. As for Frey, there was Aemon and his wife, who were joined with Walder Rivers and Edwin Frey, who stood in for his drunken father, Ryman. There you go. Aemon wants Edmure hanged, right? Aemon Frey does. Davin wants to storm the gate, and Strongbor wants to lead it. He's like, yeah, and he wants to storm the gate, and I want to help. Aemon does not want Riverrun damaged in any way because Aemon wants Riverrun afterwards. No one agrees on how to take the castle. Strongbor wants to challenge the Blackfish to single combat, which is hilarious. Forley skeptical of Lyle Craig calls Strongbor's suggestion, saying, Forley says, why would he deign to accept your challenge, sir? What could he gain from such a duel? Would we lift the siege? if he should win, he's like, dude, you're dumb. I do not believe that, nor will he. A single combat would accomplish naught. Yeah, Forley kind of like talks some sense into to Strongboar there. Strongboar's like, I'll just challenge him. And he's like, why? If he wins, we're not going to lift the siege. Like, he's not going to believe that. What are you talking about? Shut up, Strongboar. They don't call you a smart boar, do they? All right, where was I? Vance wants to go speak with him. Lord Clement Piper shuts that down and then yells at Phrase. They all get nowhere. This council does not go well. Finally, Jaime ends it saying that this is a war council, not a war, and he ends the council. All right, escort mission. So what they end up doing is Jaime Lannister gets Edmure Tully. Lord Edmure Tully has Riverrun surrender to the royal forces, but Brendan the Blackfish escapes in the night. Edmure will be escorted west. Jaime gives Forley command of the escort, taking Edmure into captivity at Castle Rock. In the Westerlands, and White Smile Watt asked to join Forley's column returning to the river to the Westerlands. Yeah, I know that was confusing. So they got to send Edmure to Castle Rock to be imprisoned there, and Forley is put in charge of that. And then as they're doing that, Jane Westerling and Sybil Spicer, her mom, Sybil Westerling, if you want to say, like, hey, can we tag along and go back to the Westerlands? I do have a video for Sybil Spicer, and even what's the difference for Jane Westerling. It's a little older, but it holds up. So yeah, they're like, hey, can we join with Forley? So where was I? When they depart, 400 men ride with. Jaime doubled the force again at the last minute. So it was originally 100, and then he's like 200. Now it's like, 400. Like, we need more men just in case something happens. Double the force at the last minute in case they come under attack from the Blackfish. He decides to ride a few miles with them to talk to Forley. So this next scene is him like riding with him, kind of talking to Forley as they're leaving out. So Forley wore a bull's head on his surcoat and horns on his helm. Jaime thought he couldn't be less bovine. Like, just because he's wearing bull stuff, he doesn't look bovine, right? Jaime warns Forley Prester that they do not know where the Blackfish is, and he might try to free Edmure. And then Forley says, that will not happen, my lord. And and then Jaime thinks that they just like most he thinks he looks like an innkeeper, and then thinks just like most innkeepers, Forley is no man's fool. No, he's also no man's fool, just like innkeepers. It's funny because Jaime keeps thinking he looks like an innkeeper. Did I leave that joke out? Yeah. Then he says, scouts and outriders will screen the march and will fortify our camps at night. I have picked 10 men to stay with Tully day and night, my best longbowmen. If he should ride so much as a foot off the road, they will loose so many arrows to the same spot. They will loose so many shafts at him that his own mother would take him for a goose. It's pretty hardcore. I like Forley. That's pretty hardcore. Jaime ends that he should do the same for Jane, stating that she is twice as dangerous as Edmure. So even though she wasn't originally a prisoner, they just asked that, like, the Westerlands are like, hey, can we go back with Forley Prester? And then he's like, yeah. Also, if she tries to escape, kill her just like Edmure. Like, she's just as dangerous as Edmure. She's the Robb Stark's widow. Like, ice her if things get nuts too. Want to get nuts? You should do the same if she escapes. And goes, as you say, my lord, she will be watched. He assures him before Jaime leaves. He assures him before Jaime leaves them to march. Forley then departs. Jaime thinks that the able knight would make a good choice for Hand of the King for Tommen. He's like, wow, he he would actually make a pretty good hand. Yeah, Forley makes a really good first impression on Jaime. Like, he thinks he's really capable, smart, and even though he looks like an innkeeper, which is just such a, like, specific insult. I think it's great. Because we all know what an innkeeper looks like. All right. Wins prologue. So that's it. That's all we got. Forley made it through. He lived. He might not live through the next book, but we'll see. And yeah, so let's get into the prologue for Wins, possibly. We don't know what the prologue for Wins is, but this is what my last slide's usually theories or whatever, and then this is what this one is. So yeah, I can find no real theory for Forley. All I can find for him are posts questioning if he will be the prologue POV in Winds of Winter. Of course, I have heard this speculation for many other members, especially Sybil Spicer, who I've covered in that video. If I had to speculate, I'd say Sybil would most likely be the POV for the Winds of Winter. I love Forley, and I'd rather get into her crazy head and really learn more of what she's got going on. I do love Forley, though. I said it twice. Because I always like it that a normal-looking random dude is actually super capable, like how he sounds. Yeah, I like that. Like, you don't have to be the son of a great lord to be a capable, smart person, right? And sure, he's part of House Prester, but he's just a knight of House Prester. He's not a lord. He's not an heir, and he's not this handsome man. He's just a dude. He's just a smart dude, and I do like that. Yeah. I have a soft spot for Forley. So what do you guys think? So when it comes to prologues, it's usually a character who dies. There's usually a little bit of magic. Do you think that that he is going to the POV for Winds of Winter, or do you think it's more Sybil Spicer? I believe he once said that Jane would be in the prologue, so a lot of people are pointing towards that. Who knows if that's true? He said that years and years and years ago. And then when everyone thought that she would be the POV, he said, I never said she'd be the POV. I just said that she'll be in the prologue. And he probably shouldn't have said that anyways. So that's why a lot of people are putting it into that party. But there's a good possibility of either Blackfish or maybe even Brave Companions with like Lady Stoneheart kidnapping, stopping, trying to get Jane. So that's, there's usually a little bit of magic. A couple times once there's been a Stoneheart in an epilogue, right? So epilogues and prologues have that kind of feel to them. So I'm leaning more towards Sybil Spicer, Jane's mom, but if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Do you think it could be Forley Prester being the POV? That's it. There's a video, and thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and have a good rest of your weekend. Peace!